The St. Lucia Air and Seaports Authority is the mouth and nose of St. Lucia's economy. Whether the subject is tourism or trade, the island's economy has no life without it.
Everything comes through Slaspa, be it the airports or the seaports. It comes through our ports. And we currently have an issue with backlog in this stuffing. So a lot of business places, a lot of persons are complaining.
Slaspa is also a lightning rod for controversy and scandal, whether it be the beleaguered billion-dollar Huronora International Airport Improvement Project, losing a lawsuit to Trinidadian businessman Robert Leotard, or the recently announced deal for Global Port Holdings to manage the cruise ship side of its operations. The most recent uproar, however, is much easier to explain.
In 2010, Slaspa for the first time got competition in warehousing. A new facility was open, and persons had a choice whether the cargo goes to Slaspa or goes to that facility. This facility, for some reason, the warehouse in Cul-de-sac was closed. As to why, I cannot say, but what happened was all the customers that were going to that facility now comes to Slaspa.
The result is that Slaspa facilities in Castries are dealing with more containers, more traffic, and more delays. Recently, popular talk shows have given a lot of airtime to opinions that Global Port Holdings is responsible for the delays that St. Lucians are facing in getting their imports off the port and into the economy.
That warehouse was open for 14 years. 14 years. Our warehouse is 48,000 square feet. That's Shed 6 in Castries. That warehouse was 25,000 square feet. So if you picture all customers are now coming to Slaspa's shed, then there must be a delay in terms of the time it takes to discharge containers. So although we are engaged in GPH, or we have engaged GPH, it is for two totally different reasons. One is for the development of cruise in Castries and Soufrière, and the other one is a logistical problem. Suddenly now we have the closure of one shed. So before the closure of that shed, we would discharge containers receive in the week they will receive. So most business places may not have warehouses because every Tuesday, every Wednesday, Thursday, you have vessels coming to the port. And you get your containers discharged in the week that they are received. Now you have a situation where with all the customers now coming to Slaspa, containers that are received this week will not be discharged or will not complete the discharging before the next vessel comes. So that problem has nothing to do with GPH. It is purely a matter of space constraints and increased demand for services.
That logistical problem, however, is a bigger and much more real problem than the imaginary idea that GPH is causing delays at Port Castries. If, as Hilaire said, everything goes through Slaspa, and if growing the St. Lucian economy depends on speed, as the central bank governor recently said, then every delay hurts the business, stymies the growth, and stunts the economy that is aiming to grow by 7% a year for the next 10 years.
What we had decided to do was, even before the closure of that shed, was to see how we can enclose Shed 7. So that these were our plans from when we started our budget year. Because of the situation that we are faced with, and because of the pressure on Slaspa, Slaspa has taken a decision to fast-track the enclosure of Shed 7 so we could ease up the pressure on the business sector. Because, not having all the containers, this stuff, like we were customers doing for 14 years, in the week that they are received, it will have some impacts. So as a means of reducing the impact on the business sector, and also on the private sector, because persons would bring in their personal effects as well, we have decided to enclose Shed 7 and to fully activate it.
The solutions have to go much further for Slaspa to deliver oxygen to the economy rather than be a choke point. The Port Authority is already looking to the future, a future which has to separate cruise ship passengers from cargo, not just for safety, but to keep costs down and to keep things moving at the speed of growth.
Short term, what we plan, or what we are doing short term, we have done two things. So in every warehouse, you might have cargo that is slow moving. So we have removed the slow moving cargo from Shed 6. We have also decided to have extended hours just to give the public some more time to come in to clear the cargo. So on a Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, we go up to 6 p.m. So extended hours up to 6. And on a Saturday, we do up to 12 o'clock. So we do that in a way to try to assist the situation in persons coming to get the cargo out. Because like I said, for us to get space, we have to make deliveries. And the short term, that's short term. Mid-term is we enclose shed number 7. And the long term is actually to have a new port. And that's where we're doing the feasibility. We have done the feasibility study. We're now looking at, whether, now that we have done the feasibility study, we're now looking to see what can be done at cul-de-sac in terms for having a fully fledged port in cul-de-sac.
The misinformation about GPH causing delays in delivering cargo may have been a painful distraction for the Port Authority. However, it has opened the door to the conversation about how far into the future Slaspa is planning. With the idea of opening a new cargo port in cul-de-sac come a host of opportunities for the cul-de-sac valley, whose communities have been promised a thick slice of the development pie for decades, but have remained some of the poorest in the northern part of the island. And that means the frustrating delays that many were experiencing recently are actually accelerating the process of growing cul-de-sac into a new city with its own cargo port. For Choice News Now, I'm Jason Seaflay.